Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's TheSketchMonkey here. Today is a very exciting day because I'm gonna do the Mazda RX-7, and it's a car that's been requested so many times over the years. I just haven't really figured out a good way to do it. So I think I have an idea of how I want to tackle this design and make it into a 2021 model. It's a 90s Japanese car, the RX-7 FD, which means that we have a lot of melted cheese in the design. Specifically, if you look at it in this yellow color right here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna tighten everything up. We're gonna work with the rear graphics of the car. For example, these headlights, very rounded, very organic. The whole car is a very organic looking car, and that's what I want to change. You see all these radiuses that we have here? We have one radius here, another radius here, another radius here, and even this line here is a long radius. Same with this integrated ducktail that you have that is now integrated even in the graphic features of the car. So the ducktail is actually part of the light assembly of this RX-7. But if you think that the rear lights are melted cheesy, then just have a look at the bottom part right here. Just look at this waviness down here. It's like it's been sitting in the sun for way too long, and this is the result in the rear bumper right there. And also these things right here, we have this reflectors. These obviously needs to go. They're not suitable for 2021. If we put a model RX-7 out today, they would not have these parts. Very 90s. This wing though, I really like the wing. I'm not sure about what I'm gonna do with it. I'm probably just going to do the same thing that I was gonna do with the lights here, for example. Just add some sharpness to it. Maybe have some tighter corners up here, and maybe have some tighter corner up there, and we'll have to play around with that. This is going to go. I don't like the rear windshield wipers. I don't think I've ever seen any cool rear windshield wipers, so that has to go as well. But now, one thing I want to talk about the proportions of the RX-7 here is it looks like an athlete of this era. If you compare this to, for example, the Mark IV Toyota Supra looks like almost a bodybuilder compared to this. This is a lot slimmer. It looks cool. It looks agile and athletic. I like that. I want to keep that in the redesign as well. And also another cool thing that we have here is we have a door handle up here, so which creates a very clean surface right here. Perfect for the redesign. I hate when door handles ruin an otherwise clean surface. And if we look at the height of the car here, it's almost like it's in the middle here, 50-50, maybe 40-60, so we have 60% of the height down here, and then the greenhouse makes up for 40% of the height. I want to increase that just a little, maybe have it 35-65 or something like that, to just make it more into some modern proportions. And then we have the outlet here. I like this outlet, but as you can see, it looks super 90s. So does this piece right here. So what I'm going to do is just extend this and have it be something like this. So we have a regular, typical outlet right here for the air to come out, and I think that's going to look good because it's going to create some creases in the body as well. Now, looking at the fenders here, I want to raise this fender right here. Just raise it a little bit, create some movement or some shoulder line that is build up the muscle just a little bit on the rear end of the fender of the RX-7. I think that's going to help the design. And then this is going to go into some sort of corner here in the tail light. Same thing in the front. I want to have it dip down, something like this. So we have a sharp line here and a sharp line here to add some definition to this design and make it modern. Looking at the bottom here, we need to connect this, of course, with the rest of the body. We need to add something down here to kind of fill this space and bring the car lower to the ground. Maybe have some graphic feature right here that connects to the other side over here. Some styling features or pieces. And then I want to have a big diffuser that goes a lot higher than this, because nowadays, pretty much, if you look at sports cars today, the diffuser is almost like the bumper. The diffuser is the part that sticks the furthest out, and if you have a collision, it's going to be the diffuser that hits the car first. So I want to have that be almost the same thing here as well. Have the diffuser stick out a little bit, maybe dual exhaust, something like that. Add some fins in here as well to have it be a sportier look than if we were to have nothing. And that's about it. Of course, the wheels are gonna change. I have to figure out what kind of wheels I want here, because these are way too old school for the look that we're going for with this redesign. So with that said, let's continue in Photoshop. Let's go crazy and let's have some fun with the RX-7, and let's see how this is going to turn out. So the Mazda RX-7 is a front mid-engine rear-wheel drive rotary engine powered sports car that was manufactured by Mazda from 1978 to 2002 across 3 generations. And these 3 generations are called, the first one is called the RX-7 SA, the second one is called the FC, and the third and last final generation is called the FD, and all of these were a 2-seater coupe except for the first one, which was a hatchback coupe. And in this redesign, we're going to focus on the third generation called the FD. And this car was the first ever mass-produced sequential twin turbocharger system to be exported from Japan, and it had a power of 255 horsepower in 1993 and finally 276 horsepower by the end of production in 2002. And one of the key designers for the FD RX-7 was also a key designer for the MX-5 Miata, and he was a Taiwanese automotive artist that worked on this instead of a traditional car designer. He worked in collaboration with the designers to add some artsiness to this design. The handling in the FD was regarded as world class, and it's still regarded as being one of the finest handling and best balanced cars of all time, and it won numerous awards including Motor Trend's Import Car of the Year. And the reason for this great handling was the use of the front midship engine and drivetrain layout in combination with the 50-50 weight distribution and a low center of gravity, and this made the FD a very competent car at the limits and also on the track. Although production ended in 2002, there was a couple of concepts that was hinting that Mazda was coming back with an RX-7. For example, the RX Vision concept car from 2015, but the proper successor to the RX-7 is the RX-8, which in my opinion doesn't feel nearly as special as an FD RX-7. I don't know what it is about the RX-8, it just feels like it's lacked that soul that the RX-7 had, and it feels more like a just mass-produced Mazda than something special. And to me, that's exactly what I want to try and capture with the redesign. I want it to be instantly recognizable as an FD RX-7, but at the same time be a modern version of the original one. So that means that we need to work on the body line and the creases on this car, and also remove that melted cheese that we have all around the cars, even in the B pillar here. I want to tighten that up a little bit, and also the greenhouse itself on the RX-7, the FD version. It's almost like it looks like a bubble almost, and that's a signature design piece that I think the FD has, and that's something that I want to keep. But at the same time, if we have a bubbly greenhouse and remove all the melted cheese, it's going to clash a little bit. So you have to have a nice balance between the softness and the organic curvatures of the RX-7 FD at the same time as you're modernizing it and turning it into something new. So another key point that I wanted to add to the design is to bring it lower to the ground, because it sits pretty high for a 2021 sports car, and we can use some pieces, bits and pieces, to build up the bottom part of the car without adding mass to the graphic features and the visual appeal of the RX-7, and that is by using black pieces that it is in stark contrast with the, of course, yellow paint of the car. Because if we have black pieces, they're sort of going to melt away in the background. If you look at this from a side view, you're only going to be struck by the yellow paint, and you're not really going to see the black pieces as part of the body. So it's still going to look very slim, even though we are increasing the height of the car or the body mass of the car by adding these pieces in the bottom. Now moving on to the rear diffuser, I want to keep it very, very simple. I'm not going to import any picture and just slam it on there. I'm going to design the whole thing just as I want it to look like. I think diffusers today they're starting to look a little bit too complex in some versions. I want to keep it very simple. This is supposed to be a 90s revival. That means that we can still have a simple design that we have in the 90s, but we can still make it look modern. Same thing with the taillights here. I know a lot of you are going to say, this is a Dodge Charger taillight, but hey, it's also an RX-7 taillight, and the RX-7 FD came way before the current Dodge Charger that we have out here. So this If this were to come back, they have the right to use this taillight just as much as any Dodge Charger out there, because this is what the RX-7 original FD taillight looked like. So if you have a light bar in combination with the modern phenomena that we have today, which are light bars, it had a light bar as well. So we can add the light bar and have it be an LED inside this beautiful black piece that is the taillight. And I love that section of the FD RX-7. I think that is another piece that kind of looks like it follows the body lines so well. And I think it's unique for the time to have a piece of graphic, which is the taillight of the car, follow the body lines and the curvatures of the rest of the body so well. It just looks like it's a part of the bodywork on the car, which I love about the original FD. Talking about the wing, I'm not going to make any changes, major changes to the wing. I'm going to add some sharpness to some of the corners of it. Same thing with the rear bumper. It's way too soft to be a modern car, so we need to add some curvatures to that as well. And also on the A-pillar, I want to have a little more structure in the corner up there, going up to the roof line. Now, talking about the fenders, this is an important piece of the redesign here. The fenders, the line in the fender is going to bring this 20 years forward in appearance. Just adding those creases and those sharp line over the front fender and the rear fender is going to add a sharpness that wasn't really a big deal in the 90s, but they are a big deal today. So adding just that tiny piece, that could be the only change I made, and it would still look like it could be possibly a 2021 model. Now, talking about the outlet right behind the front wheel, some might probably say it's going to look too Corvette-ish, but this is a standard. So look at the rear diffuser when this is done, and look at the overall graphics of the car. I wanted to have a very simple approach to the graphic. No weird creases, nothing like that. This is a sports car, a clean, basic sports car made for the track. It doesn't need to have any weird outlets or intakes or stuff like that. We're gonna keep it simple and functional. We're keeping the original FD RX-7 vibe all over the car. Same goes for the wheels. Wheels, of course, needs to be upgraded to something more modern and more performance driven, and that's exactly what I did. And that's about it for this redesign. I hope you enjoyed it. I really did. This was a lot of fun to do. This is like going back to the old redesigns that I used to do a year or so ago, so it was a nice flashback when it comes to making these kind of designs. Thank you so much for watching. I'm the TheSketchMonkey. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.